Okay, guys, Panzer J back in Operation Live and Let Die. We are at Japan's turn 13.3, and things continue to go from bad to worse for the Japanese in this game. Uh, Last turn, Fighting Irish came in and took a couple of the Japanese home country territories, and he also has three or more surface ships here in C Zone 38 and C Zone 56. So in 38, he's got a battleship, a carrier, two destroyers, and a heavy cruiser. And then in 56, this marker over here represents a couple of battleships, a heavy cruiser, two light cruisers, and a destroyer. So he definitely has three or more surface ships in each of those two Japanese sea zones there. So he's now blockaded the Japanese. All major naval facilities are blockaded for Japan. So they can only collect income for the Japanese home territories now. So anything they still own overseas, like what they still have in Manchuria and down here in the South Pacific, none of those they can collect income from while they're blockaded. The one bit of good news, I suppose, is that he cannot convoy raid me now that I am blockaded. So a tiny, tiny silver lining there. And then also when he took Kyushu, he took out one of my major factories. So now I only have the one major factory left for tech rolls as well. So we'll see what we can do for the Japanese. We'll go ahead with our one tech roll. And we are going to go for long-range aircraft. So that's currently at stage 3. So we need a 7 or higher to complete long-range aircraft. And we actually rolled a 7, so we just hit it. So let's go ahead and move up long-range aircraft one spot to its completion. And that is now the third tech that Japan's completed in the game. So not horrible, I suppose. Now on to purchases. So the Japanese had $25 to spend this turn. They're going to go ahead and purchase 3 subs, and they do have improved construction, so they're $1 less, so they're $5 a piece. That's 15. And then they're going to buy 2 cavalry for $6, so that's 21. And they'll go ahead and save $4 for turn 14. Now on to attacks. So we have 3 attacks we're actually going to be engaging in. One is over here. I'm going to send a cavalry and a motorized up 1 territory to eastern Manchuria and take that from the Soviet Union. I know I can't collect the money from it, but we're going to still take that back from the Russians. A second attack is going to be, I still have all 6 of my kamikazes. So we're going to use 2. I only can use 2 per calendar turn. And we're going to use 2 here in C Zone 38 in the Sea of Japan. And then finally, I'm going to send this infantry from Honshu down 1 to Kyushu, as well as my tactical and my 4 fighters from Tokyo. So he has a U.S. Marine, so he'll be defending at a 4. My infantry is -1 in mountain, so it'll attack at a 1, and then I'll have my 4 fighters at 6 and my 1 tactical at a 7. So let's go ahead and do the 1 combat that doesn't involve any die rolling. So we'll go up here and we'll take Eastern Manchuria back with those 2 units. So that's up $1 for Japan, down $1 for the Soviet Union. So let's go over here and move that on the production chart there. So Japan is up to 14 and Russia is down to 57. Global War 36 enthusiast had reached his full wartime production of 46, and then he had $12 worth of territory. So he's down just 1. Now let's go over here to the kamikaze and read what exactly is happening with that. So beginning as soon as U.S. reaches wartime economy, which we're way past that point, Japan may make up to 2 kamikaze attacks per calendar turn in the game, up to a total of 6. They are made at an attack of 7 with target selection versus surface ships at a 1 or 2 and have first strike. No fighter is required or expended for these attacks. Kamikaze attacks may be made from the home country and have a range of 4. Then there's a little bit more about them, but that doesn't apply to what I'm doing now. So I am attacking from the home country. They're right in the Sea of Japan, so I'm well within the range of 4. And I'll get 2 D12s at 7. And if I get a 1 or a 2, I get to choose what the casualty is. And again, we are attacking here in C Zone 38. He has a carrier, a battleship, 2 destroyers, and a heavy cruiser. So let's go ahead and roll our 2 D12s. I need a 7 or less. 12 and a 3. So I got 1 hit there. So, and it wasn't target selection. So Fighting Irish gets to choose what he wants for the casualty. So hopefully in the next video here, his UK French turn, he has to go ahead and choose 1 casualty in that C Zone 38, 1 hit. Okay, so now on to the last combat, which is this infantry coming down with 4 fighters and a tactical. It's a small battle. I'm not going to break out the battle board for that. His infantry is defending at a 4. I've got my 4 fighters first at 6s, a tactical at a 7, and a man at a 1. So let's do our 4 fighters first. And we got a 5, 6, 7, and a 10. So we hit him twice over. So now he gets to defend at a 4. And he rolled a 9, so he does not succeed. So I'm going to go ahead and take off his U.S. units here and move my infantry down 1 to Kyushu. So that's up $2 for the Japanese and then down $2 for the U.S. So let's go ahead and move the Japanese up $2 more to 16. And the U.S. goes down from 70 to 68. Okay, so that should be it for combat. So now on to non-combat move. So the tactical and the 4 fighters had moved 2 spaces to get to Kyushu. They were at an air base, so they're up to 5. Plus, I now have long-range aircraft, so that's up to 6. So they obviously can easily make it back to Tokyo. That takes them 2 moves. So we'll send them back to Tokyo. And then down here in the South Pacific, these planes now have a movement of 5 because of long-range aircraft. So they're going to go 1 to C Zone 132, 2 to 133, 3 to 124, and 4, they're going to land in Celebes. So they are now down in Celebes. And that should be it for non-combat. Now we're on to unit placement. We're going to take our 2 cavalry and place both of those in Tokyo. I know these guys are kind of floating around in the Sea of Japan there, but we're out of room in Tokyo. So they're there. And then we're going to go ahead and take our 3 subs. And we are placing them just in the place units box. So it's the same thing that I talked about earlier with my carriers. So once something is able to be placed on the board here in the place units box, it does not have to be placed immediately. It's placed at the discretion of who has the units there. So I'm going to go ahead and hold off placing the 3 subs. So now in the place units box for the Japanese, they have a fleet carrier, 3 light carriers, and 3 submarines in the place units box. And then just another little bit of a recap. In Celebes, we have 2 tacticals, a fighter, an infantry, and a motorized infantry. And in Tokyo, we've got a tactical, 4 fighters, a militia, 2 coastal artillery, 2 cavalry, and 11 infantry. And also I've got a major factory now back in Kyushu. I'll put that on the board. So that should cover, oh, we forgot one last thing. Getting ahead of myself again. So income. So Japan has just, they're still blockaded, so they just get the income from the Japanese home territories. 2 for Kyushu, 2 for Tokyo, and 2 for Honshu. So that's $6. They went ahead and saved $4 from the last turn, so that's 10. And now their wartime economy roll. So let's go ahead and roll for that. And $5, so not the greatest. So that's a total of $15 Japan will have on turn number 14. So I'll turn things over to Fighting Irish for the UK-France turn. and he needs to go ahead and suffer one casualty there in C zone 38. So if he chooses that'd be appreciated. And then we'll see you guys back on Italy 13.6.